In 1972, Kings Island Amusement Park in Mason, Ohio would open up to the public after 2 years of construction. The park is getting ready to celebrate 50 years this year in 2022. But have you ever wondered how Kings Island came about? Well, in this series that we are starting today that starts with Kings Island, we are going to talk about the origins of parks throughout the United States and world. Before we continue to do this, do us a favor and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and hit the like button so this video gets recommended to other YouTube viewers. Thanks. On June 15, 1970, the Taft Broadcasting Company broke ground and began the construction of Kings Island Amusement Park, led by the Charles V. Masher and Company construction firm. This construction would last a period of 2 years before finally opening to the public on April 29, 1972. In 1964, there was a major flood at Coney Island in Cincinnati, Ohio, that submerged the park in 14 feet of water. Now, the flooding at the park was normal, but never that bad. It was usually pretty manageable to the certain point. But the flooding in 1964 was so bad that it made Gary Walk and Ralph Walk decide on plans to relocate the park and find a new spot to do so. The negotiations to sell the park or find a new spot for the park fell sour until in 1969, when he got word that Taft Broadcasting was wanting to expand their Hanna-Barbera brand. After careful negotiation, the Walks made a deal with Taft Broadcasting to acquire Coney Island for $6.5 million in 1969. Right away, the plans were drawn up to look for a new location for the park, since that land that Coney Island was sitting on was prone to flooding and also had limited space. Taft Company wanted plenty of land, and they didn't want to be confined to a small space. This search led them to a piece of land about 24 miles northeast of Coney Island in an area called King Mills. It wouldn't be too long after the purchase that Taft Broadcasting would purchase 1,600 acres in Warren County, Ohio for $3.2 million. That is located 24 miles northeast of Coney Island. As of today, there are still 773 acres that are controlled by Cedar Fair, who currently owns Kings Island. In 1970, Taft Broadcasting would finally secure financing, and the naming rights would go through a process. They set up a contest with locals to decide on what to call the new park that was currently unnamed, and finally, after the contest, there was a name decided on. It's close to a town called King Mills, so the first part would be called Kings. The fans of Coney Island wanted the name to also have remnants of Coney Island in the name, so it was decided on that the final name would be called Kings Island Amusement Park. Many rides and attractions would be moved from Coney Island to Kings Island after Coney Island closed on September 6, 1971. Kings Island would open to the public on April 29, 1972, and would hold its grand opening on May 27, 1972. One of the first major attractions featured in the park was Racer, a wooden roller coaster consisting of two trains that raced side by side on identical tracks. Designed by legendary designer John C. Allen, who was convinced to come out of retirement, the Racer was the first of its kind in 35 years and played an integral part of the roller coaster renaissance of the 1970s. Other roller coasters present on opening day in 1972 were the Bavarian Beetle, a small steel coaster brought over from Coney Island, and a new junior wooden coaster in the Happy Land of Hanna-Barbera, originally named Scooby-Doo. The most expensive ride to open with the park was Enchanted Voyage, a $2 million dark ride attraction that featured over 100 animatronic Hanna-Barbera characters. The park opened after many would call the after Disney theme park era. If you look at the park, it has a central hub which is anchored by the Eiffel Tower. Also, there were different lands when it opened, just like Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. The main entrance would be called International Street. This still exists today. Also, there were lands called Oktoberfest, Coney Island, Rivertown, and Happy Land of Hanna-Barbera. Also, many of those lands still exist today. As of 2022, Kings Island is getting ready to celebrate 50 years of being open as a theme park. Kings Island will grow over the next 50 years into a top destination theme park for visitors. Many changes would happen over the next years, and it would also change owners a couple of times. Eventually, the park would be sold over to the current owner, Cedar Fair, in 2006. This park also has some of the most top rides and coasters in the theme park industry. We hope you enjoyed this origin video. We will be releasing one of these every Sunday here on the channel. We hope that you learned a little bit from this video. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share for future videos that'll drop down here on Thrill Rides.